Hello and welcome to the Herald Gaming channel. Today we are diving into some Guild Wars 2 lore, specifically that of the Spirits of the Wild, which will heavily feature in the next big release for the game, the Icebrood Saga, the next chapter of Guild Wars 2. But before we rush headlong into all that yummy lore, as well as Elite Specialization and Mastery Speculation, I want to thank all my wondrous patrons who keep this one-woman army up, running and, well, as sane as I ever get. If you'd like to join them, links below. So, who and what are the Spirits of the Wild? What significance do they hold within Norn culture? What role might they play in the stories to come, not just narratively speaking, but also in respect of their confirmed masteries and perhaps a future elite shared specialization, the Shaman. Oh yes, it's tinfoil hat time. Now there's going to be lots of information and speculation here, so please do look to the timestamps for your salvation, peeps. The Spirits of the Wild are entities who reside in the mists. To the Norn, they are spirit guides, but in truth, vanishingly little is known of their origins or powers. The Norn hold these beings in reverence, but they do not worship them. The Spirits of the Wild can communicate directly with the mortals of Tyria. In fact, some spirits choose to form profound bonds with mortals. The Norn call these chosen Havran. Spirits have only ever been known to select a single Havran at any one time, but there seems no requirement for them to do so, and some spirits never seem to have bonded with any mortals on Tyria, to our knowledge. Havran, currently only Norn, are the most powerful shamans, able to spirit walk or cross over into the mist to tend to the needs of their spirit, unaided. No portals, no jiggery-pokery required. They are also able to grant passage to that realm, the realm of the spirits, to others. It is believed that the Havran travel to the Hall of the Spirits, a place similar to Valhalla of the Nordic legend. Narratively speaking, any Norn can train to become a shaman. Indeed, there are numerous Norn NPCs found throughout the Shiver Peaks and in Holbrook itself. There are also 4 Holbrook speakers, spirit speakers, shaman with a deep connection to these mysterious beings. Although lesser to the Havran, speakers can communicate directly with their patron spirit. Now, all Norn, including Norn player characters, are able to shapeshift into the animal form of their chosen spirit, but to be a Havran, to be a speaker, you must have been chosen by that Spirit of the Wild itself. Unlike the human gods, which represent abstract concepts and primal forces, the spirits personify the complex nature of the animals from which they take their form. Or perhaps it's vice versa. There is almost no law relating to the shaping of the world, so either or indeed neither could be true. 1165 years after the human gods left Tyria, Jormag awoke, and in his aftermath a mini Ice Age was born. 16 full seasons of unrelenting and bitter winter, of constant storms of ice and snow and blood-freezing gales. The Norn too rose to defend their homes and their hunting grounds. Hundreds of lives were lost, but even as the Norn faced extinction, they would not flee willingly from their hunt of the dragon and its minions. If not for the intervention of the Spirits of the Wild, their kind would likely be no more. In the year 1169, compelled by their spirit guides, the Norn exodus south began. 4 Spirits of the Wild were lost during this harrowing time, their selfless efforts giving the fragmented clans the time they needed to escape. Led south to safety by the Spirits of the Wild, the Norn settled in Holbrook. Today they remain a people in exile, but still absolutely determined to reclaim their homelands. Now, I will cover the Fang of the Serpent hanging in the Great Lodge when we dive into the story of Bramster Golkin. But for this video, let's put a pin in that and look at the lore we have for the Spirits of the Wild. There are 16 currently recognized Spirits of the Wild, with 2 main classifications, Great and Lesser, as well as those considered lost by the exiled Norn of Holbrook. The greater spirits are Bear, raven, snow leopard, and wolf. The lesser are doliac, aka ox, eagle, gorilla, griffin, hare, mink, minotaur, otter, owl, wolverine, and worm. Out of these lesser spirits, owl, wolverine, eagle, and ox remained in the south to battle the dragon and ensure the Norn's escape. There is a shrine in Holbreg, the Lost Spirits Hollow, in honour of them, at least most of them. Eagle is notable by its absence here. It is unclear whether this exclusion was just an oversight on the part of the map-creating team, but it could have narrative significance. Perhaps the Eagle Shamans have erected a shrine elsewhere. It could be the followers of Eagle didn't settle in Holbreg, or perhaps even make it out of the north. The wiki says Eagle is revered, but could Eagle have submitted to Jormag or somehow fallen under its thrall? Happily, this mystery will be put to rest in the story of the Icebrood Saga. Let me know in the comments below why you think Eagle is missing. I would love your perspective on the lore. But for now, let's unpack the lore we have for the spirits of the wild individually as much as we can. When you create a Norn character, you are able to choose from one of the 4 great spirits of the wild. So let's start with them. Battle with the strength of the bear. The last Havraun of the bear was Gretchen. She played a role in the personal story of the Norn player character, if that player character chose the bear spirit as their patron. Outside of the Norn-specific personal story, in the grander personal arc of Zaitan, Gretchen joined the Pact to fight against the Elder Dragon and sadly perished in Auror. So Bear is Havraunless, but does still have a speaker. Alrin of the Frost, found in the Bear Lodge, like all speakers are found in their associated spirit animal lodge in Holbreg. This is what he has to say of Bear. Bear embodies strength in body and mind, both in the person and in us as people. Bear also stands for ferocity and confidence. Bear is our mother when she's like a she-bear protecting her cubs. We also call her sister when she helps us find inner strength. What offerings does Bear like? Well, offerings that take strength to seize, animal hides from your hunt, or trophies from tremendous feats. What's your story behind speaking for Bear? My younger self was a tireless warrior. Lagoon put a stop to that, and I turned to Bear to save me. I'd rather die than not fight, but she showed me how to go on. Bear is by far the most dominant and populous clan, counting Newt Whitebeard in its ranks. Raven. May Raven bless you with the vision to see and the wisdom to understand. It has been confirmed that Raven will be the first Spirit of the Wild mastery in the Icebrood Saga. The Raven Havran is Weave, who Norn players meet in the personal story if they chose Raven as their spirit animal. Morda, the Quick, is the Raven speaker, and this is her dialogue. How did you become the speaker of Raven? I was on a solo hunt when I was young and foolish, and soon lost my way. I found myself in a place I had never been before, in the middle of a snowstorm. I would have died, but Raven flew overhead and led me home. What qualities would you say Raven bears? Raven represents those facets of our mind that grant us understanding, wisdom, cleverness, clarity, perspective. These things help us see the path ahead and grant us the opportunity to make wise decisions. What kind of offerings can I give to the Raven? Raven seeks no offerings for himself, but is pleased when we think of ourselves. According to the wiki, Raven is associated with wisdom, cunning, trickery, knowledge, the underworld, ghosts, and mysteries, the last 3 being extracted directly from the original Guild Wars 1 wiki. It is also clear that Raven enjoys riddles and wordplay. The very first heart most Norn players undertake is the Raven's riddles. Raven is also the inspiration and deeply connected to the legendary weapon Nevermore. Snow Leopard. May Snow Leopard grant you quickness and grace. The Hound of Snow Leopard is Severna, and its speaker is Valharathna, who had this to say of her spirit. What qualities are associated with the Snow Leopard? Snow Leopard is dedicated to stealth and prowess on the hunt, as well as independence. She reminds us that sometimes the best approach is the one least expected. What kind of offering can I give to Snow Leopard? Snow Leopard gladly accepts an offering of prey that you have slain, though she especially honors those offerings taken with speed or stealth. How did you get your role? The Elder recognized my intense connection to Snow Leopard's spirit, something I possessed even as a child. When I became an adult, it was a natural fit to receive this honor. When I am on the hunt, I give myself to my animal side. I become wild and dangerous, like Snow Leopard herself. The scent of my prey becomes my entire world. The wiki tells us that this spirit is also associated with strategy, laughing in the face of danger, and is considered to be solitary. This again is directly from the Guild Wars 1 wiki. Wolf. Walk with the pack. In the eyes of Wolf, we are all brothers and sisters. The current Havran of Wolf is Valda, who took over the role when Havran Sovai was murdered by the sons of Svanir in the events of the Norn personal story. Fastolf Jofferson is a speaker of the Wolf. This is what he has to say. What qualities are associated with Wolf? Wolf is dedicated to brotherhood and loyalty. He is the bond that cannot be broken. He keeps us together in the face of impossible odds and reminds us that we never fight alone. What kind of offerings do I give to Wolf? Wolf welcomes any prey taken during a hunt, but especially the prey that has proven challenging enough to require it be slain by a pack. How did you become Speaker of the Wolf? When I reached manhood, I heard Wolf's cry strongly in my heart, so I went to the hall to fully learn his ways. In time, Wolf chose me as his speaker. The Wolf Spirit is linked to the legendary weapon Howler. Okay, so it's tinfoil hat time, peeps, and potentially spoiler time, depending on how accurate or not my speculation-y stuff here is. You know, even a stopped clock is right twice a day. If the new specializations focus on the great spirits of the wild, and at this stage we have a sample size of 1, but let's just say that they do, what would each of the great spirit mastery lines look like? Now, this is of course wild speculation, but it is grounded. We know about their abilities and ethos, and I'm looking back at how the development team dealt with previous mastery lines. Okay. Shared mastery themes. So masteries are often linked to a specific group, like the Nuhok or the Itzol, and not inconceivable that some of the maps in Icebrood Saga will be dedicated or heavily feature a primary spirit of the wild. So conceivably we might have to work our way through their mastery in order to fully explore the map and advance onto the next part of the story. Gating content, when done in a thoughtful, meaningful manner, gives players a sense of achievement and reward for their time and effort. I also think it's plausible that there will be some mastery themes that span all the spirits of the wild, a kind of copy-paste baseline. So here's my thoughts. Spiritual guidance. The idea here is that the spirits are guiding us to victory over Jormag, guiding us through the Shiver Peak Mountains. But in order for them to do that, we must attune to that spirit. In my version of the universe, we would do this by firstly being guided by the spirit speakers and frown of each of those spirits. This could be linked both to the narrative questline and mastery unlocks. Shrine cleansing. The Norn for generations have built shrines to honour their spirit guides. I imagine there are countless shrines scattered throughout the far Shiver Peaks, much like the near Shiver Peaks, but all of them corrupted by Jormag. We, the player character, could cleanse these sacred places, and the ability to do so could be a mastery in itself, and the reward perhaps could be a vendor NPC who spawns once the shrine has been cleansed, offering item rewards, armors, weapons, boons, map currencies, whatever takes your fancy. Once we've attuned to the specific spirit and shown dedication to them by cleansing their shrine, there could be an armor set reward track dedicated to each of the spirits of the wild. This could work for both weapons and armor sets and require a mastery line to unlock each. Now, there are versions of the armor sets at least already in game. In fact, players have been asking for access to them since launch, so this could be a nice aesthetic reward tier or tiers which most players would be very happy to dedicate time and effort towards. I am totally down for a Fashion Wars mastery. Okay. So this is deeply unlikely, but as we immerse ourselves in the lore and our connection to the spirit grows deeper, we could gain the ability, like the Norn, to shapeshift into one, or indeed all, of the spirits of the wild, making it a utility skill perhaps, gained via mastery. Now this is something we haven't seen before, but oh my goodness, I would love this. Or if that's going a bit too far, there could be some in-game mechanic that triggers our transformation. This would be great for everybody. Norn get to have all the spirits, and so does everybody else. I'm totally down for this. Please, Norn, share your awesome. Now, the final shared reward could be access to the hall of the spirits themselves, or the corner of that realm belonging to the individual spirit we are attuning to. There could be Norn or spirit champions here to battle, dropping awesome rewards. There could be jumping puzzles, special vendors, hidden lore relating to that spirit, and the Norn heroes of the past who were dedicated to the spirit. It could be a cornucopia of wonderful, glorious, beautiful awesomeness. The whole of the spirits, I really hope we see it, whether it's a mastery like my idea or not. We've got to go there. So that's my idea for generic shared masteries that will span all of the spirits. Let's drill down into more specific masteries, starting with Bear. So Bear's powers seem to reside both in physical and mental strength. Any Arctic explorer can testify to the mental and physical exhaustion of extreme cold. So it would make sense, the further north we travelled, that we would need some lasting magical protection from the cold. In fact, many areas of the map might very well be gated by our ability to protect ourselves from that cold. Much like the mechanics in the Bitterfrost frontier, Bear seems a logical choice to provide some kind of ability in this area. There could be a series of cold fighting, strength boosting, and map unlocking abilities centered around her primal strength. Here's another idea. Bears in the Arctic regions of our Pearl planet have underground dens, offering shelter from the bitter cold, helping the bear survive the darkest days of winter. This ability to enter that kind of shelter and even gain access to a subterranean network, New Hawk style, would be very fitting, as well as being able to interact with bear spirits within these sacred underground shrines. Teddy bear spirit for the win. Moving on to the Raven mastery ethos. Raven is depicted as the guiding spirit, bringing clarity to both mind and guidance in a mundane fashion too. I would imagine its mastery will be centered around finding our way through the endless storms that Jormag's presence creates, as well as uncovering hidden truths and old lore. We could have the ability to unlock spirit ravens for the player character to follow, leading us to and through storm-locked areas of the map. There could be a mastery line for air currents, which allows us to use the dragon storms to our advantage for traversal, both mounted and unmounted. We could unlock the ability to find hidden lore, riddle style, just like that first heart in the Wayfarer foothills. Perhaps even a far-sighted ability, allowing us to see through the lighter storm fronts of that bitter region. Okay, on to Snow Leopard. A lot of focus is placed on speed and stealth, and the scent pattern of prey is also mentioned by the Snow Leopard speaker. So it would be thematically sound to suggest we unlock stealth and speed mastery lines, as well as perhaps scent marking auras to track enemies in the dense storm suggested by the trailer and the lore of Jomag. Now, snow leopards in the wild, like bear, have underground dens, so that mechanic could also be used for safe haven, shelter and map traversal. There could also be a cold protection offered too. Perhaps an ever-increasing level of cold protection is required as we head ever closer to the lair of the dragon. One can only imagine the freezing temperatures of that corrupted hell. Wolf mastery. The strength of the wolf is the pack, and if indeed we do get to master the wolf spirit, we could see the manifestation of the spirit pack. The ability to call forth a pack of wolves to aid you in battle. The ability to call forth a wolf spirit to aid you in recovering from the down state, for example. We could unlock a line of wolf calls, buffing ourselves and aiding our allies in battle. Perhaps we could even unlock a permanent wolf ally for our adventures through the frozen north. Let me know in the comments what you think of my mastery line ideas and what you would like to see if indeed the devs do focus on the great spirits of the wild. The lesser spirits. There is shockingly little lore outside their existence, and perhaps a few lines of flavor text for eagle, ox, griffin, gorilla, mink, worm, otter and wolverine. For example, gorilla is considered a far-flung spirit, whatever that means. Griffin is said to be strongest when her flock migrates. It's all super vague. I mean, there is a bit more for ox. So the last known ox shaman was Fargal Jennison's deceased dad. A nice lore nod for Vigil players at least. The ox itself is known for its strength and persistence. That's grabbed from the Guild Wars 1 wiki, and was one of the spirits that stayed behind in the Farshipper Peaks, along with Eagle and Wolverine, who have even less fleshed out story. That said, I imagine that the development team, the writers, see this as a plus. They get a blank slate. They can write on it whatever they want. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how they flesh out all these characters. The lesser spirits who seem to have a more fleshed out lore basis, at least in part, are Owl, Minotaur and Hare. Let's look at Owl because she was mentioned during the live stream, is one of the characters whose fate will be uncovered in the Icebrood Saga. So out of all of the lost spirits of the wild, Owl has the most established in-game lore. There are actually still Owl Shamans in-game today, IGRS being the primary interactable character for Owl. She is found in the Owl Lodge in Snowden Drifts. Scattered throughout those ruins are the remnants of the teachings of Owl. Here's what they say. You find a page of a comical image of a fox crashing into a sleeping bear while an owl flies overhead. The text reads, "Those who charge blindly forward are likely to be surprised." The next text reads, "And Owl said to Wolf, 'Brother, all your hunting is for naught if your family dines alone.' And Wolf returned to his cubs, for he knew Owl was wise." Another text says, "Ulrun called upon the spirits for advice, and Owl replied, 'To build a family on strength alone is to carve a nest of stone.' Ulrun was pleased. She had chosen a kindly mate." Olaf asked his mother why his bowl was always filled last. She replied, "The finest hunter can't feed her family unless she is fed first. In return, hunters leave no bowl empty. This we learnt from Owl. To hear bear or wolf is to know fear, for their enemies cannot overcome them. To hear owl is to know peace, for her enemies will never hear her coming. You find the crumpled remnants of a blessing. Owl, we call upon you so that we might live by your wisdom. We will hunt silently and well, so that our homes will never know danger or starvation. All the wisdom of nature can be learnt from the spirits, but beware, the ice dragon's lessons carry a heavy price. There came a cry that carried not through the air, but through the hearts of every Norn. It was then we knew Owl was lost to us. Now there is another NPC who claims to be a shaman of Owl. The Owl Shaman of Kragstad, Bram's home village, which was assaulted during the events of Season 2. This is what he has to say about Owl. I am an Owl Shaman, a spirit many consider dead. It is my hope that being at Kragstad, I might somehow revive her following, maybe even Owl herself. This line could mean we have a chance to save Owl. Perhaps even make her one of our mastery lines. Perhaps saving her is how we unlock her mastery line. Now this is just one line, and a piece of content that cannot be replayed. Still, it can't even be revisited in any capacity by players, so it could just be one line, no connection to the story, or, and this is my hope, it could be a breadcrumb the writers decided to follow. Time will tell, but we will be getting to know Bram much better. This gentle Norn hails from his homestead. I'm not saying, but I'm saying, maybe? Okay, on to Hare, also known as Bunny or Snowshoe Hare. She is one of the lesser spirits, but she is as smart as Raven, loyal as Wolf, strong as Bear, well, at least in the legs. Anyone who has levelled through the Shiver Peaks, specifically the Hangrimer climb of Wayfarer Foothills, is likely to remember being punted by some ravenously hungry hares, and this is where the vast majority, pretty much all the lore related to Hare originates. There are even bunny acolytes. I kid you not. Minotaur. Now this is what the wiki tells us of the Minotaur Spirit. He has not been seen for generations, only to reappear recently due to the sons of Svanir hunting down various Minotaurs to enrage the spirit. Minotaur represents untamed strength and savage courage. That bit is, again, plucked straight out of the Guild Wars 1 wiki. So that's pretty much all we know about the lesser spirits. So here's my question to you. Do you think the lesser spirits of the wild will feature in the Icebrood Saga outside of the lost spirits? Obviously, we're going to find out what happens to them. Would you welcome discovering what happens to these lesser spirits? Do you think that Owl will be revived? And do you think that they will focus on the great spirits of the wild, or do you think that they would use the lesser spirits so that they have more leeway to make them whatever they want? I look forward to having lots of discussions with you guys in the comments below. Another question for you. Do you have your tinfoil hat on? Because you may want to roll yourself human hot dog style in that tinfoil for the next section. What would you guys and gals think of having a Shaman Elite Specialisation, which is shared by all the professions? It's cuckoo, it's crazy, okay, but hear me out. Similar to the ethos of the Revenant, channeling the hero spirits of the myths, once we have attuned and unlocked all the masteries for the various spirits in the game, players could embark on another journey to become a shaman, giving us access to perhaps the lesser spirits and their abilities aligned to 4 major forms of combat: tanking, range DPS, melee DPS, and support. You could expand that or change it to survival, movement speed, and boon sharing. It could be shaped into whatever best fits into the game. Now this could be how we gain the ability to perhaps shapeshift again. I really want to shapeshift, don't I? as we channel the spirits and use their abilities in combat. I mean, how amazing would it be to see owls and Doliacs charging across the map? I think it's awesome. But I am a queer fish, so I'll grant you that. Now, it does not have to have earth-shatteringly changing mechanics. This could be more for flavour and fun. Conceivably, it could even be locked to the far Shiver Peak maps, only to limit its effect on the delicate balancing act the devs have to maintain for skills. Also, because there is so little lore of the lesser spirits, and really there's very little lore for the greater spirits either, the devs could just go mad, have fun, flesh out the lore, their skills, the transformations. I'm prepared to throw down my hat in the comments to defend my desire to share the shapeshift. Come on, Nons, you know how awesome it is. You'd get to actually have all of the shapeshifting, and you'd get to share your awesome with us as well. I mean, you're already 9 foot tall and awesome and tattoos. I mean, you can't have all the cool. I know the derpy dance kind of is there for a counterbalance, but come on, let some of that awesome rub off on us. Now, I will accept arguments in the comments that it would be more thematic and perhaps better to fit into the game as it stands if the Revenant simply got the ability to channel the spirits of the wild. But I honestly think we have a better chance of getting new elite specializations, which is shared, rather than a full set of exquisitely crafted, tailored individual elite specializations, which take, oh my goodness, a staggering amount of R&D, testing and balancing to manage. Okay, so that is the end of my video, the end of the Spirits of the Wild lore and speculation, and out there speculation about shared elites. But I'm not done with my pre-Icebrood Saga hype yet. There will be more content relating to it coming up on the channel, talking about the history of the Shiver Peaks, the lore of the Char, and the history of the Char Legions, as well as a deep dive into Ritlock, Bram, and of course, more tinfoil hat, wild speculations. So, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, do share it if you think others might find it enjoyable and informative too, and if you do not want to miss any future wild speculation, do ring that bell, and please do show some love to Jolly Joestar, Jason, Venter, Kildare, Ada, Cub, Hain, Molini, Sarazu, Christopher Martin, Kyle Nelson, Dark Griever, and all my wondrous, fantabulous Patreons, without whom I would be unable to dedicate the time and resources I do to my content creation. I can't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. If you'd like to join them, there are links below. And if you feel inspired by all this glorious Guild Wars 2 hype, there are referral links below to the free-to-play game and the Path of Fire expansion, which now includes all the wondrous content of Heart of Thorns 2, thanks to the generosity of Arenanet and their partner program, of whom I am a proud affiliate. Using any of these referral links directly supports my channel and costs you not a brass farthing more. Now I hope you will join me again very soon for more Guild Wars 2 goodness, but until then, as always, thanks for watching.